How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Blue Shifting and welcome to Rewrite Plus. This is going to be an interesting one to play because I know a little bit about the Rewrite series, but not enough to truly spoil it for myself, which is good because I started watching the anime and then realized it was a visual novel and stopped. So like, I don't really, this was like years ago too, so I don't even know. But hey, if you're new here, this is your first video, welcome to the Blue Shifting. We cover story-based content, primarily visual novels, but I've been dabbling since I started a Patreon and started getting direct support. I was able to go from 3 videos a week that were pretty much just visual novels to 5 videos a week where I splash into some different genres, but still on the theme of like story-driven content. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I invite you to stick around, see if this is for you, but mostly just say hi and see what you want to see about this series. But yeah, here we are. I am very excited about this. Key, thank you so much for the opportunity to play this game. I hopefully won't have to have any issues with them. I've had, like, sometimes you don't even know about companies that are making visual novels, but I don't want to step on their toes. And I asked for the permission to be able to play this, and they seem to be okay with it. So we're gonna do this. I want to get something very clear, though. I know this has multiple routes. I typically do a one route plan. Like, the idea is that I do one route, one ending, because I want to make sure there's content left for you to explore on your own. Like, I don't want to be just showing all the content in every game I play. I mostly want this to be an experience we share together, like my first time through. And then after that, you know, I talk about the other routes, but it's not like I show every single bit of it because, again, I want the people who make games like this to get the support they deserve. I don't want to feel like I'm spoiling an entire storyline, even though I am going to be covering most of it. Now, I have had a bit of an insight given to me that, like Steins Gate, there are true endings to this game. And, like, apparently there's, like, 2 of them. Thankfully, I have a good community that doesn't spoil anything, but they help give me, like, insights on this. So I'm going to be doing a bit of an exception. I'm going to shoot for one of the true endings. I don't know how to... the community will help me with that. So if I go through my first playthrough and I end up not on a true ending, I will then backtrack to like the deviation point and I will find one of the true endings, and then that'll be the ending of the series. If I get a true ending on my first playthrough, then that'll be it. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll have to see. Anyway, yeah, so enough about the stipulations. Let's jump right in and hopefully get some exciting, wonderful stories to share and talk about.
ある時、何も持っていないことに気づいた。幸せが詰まっていると思っていたポケットは、実は空っぽだった。そこに何を詰める努力もしてこなかったんだから当然だ。でも俺はそんなことさえわからなかった。漫然とした中身のない人生を歩いてきたからだ。そしてある日突然、自分がたくさんの時間を失っていると感じた。俺は誰とでも話せた。どんな奴とでも。でも親友はいなかった。ただの一人も。それがどういうことだか考えるまでもない。俺の人生はひどく薄っぺらいものだった。昔馴染みの神戸小鳥だけが唯一気兼ねなく話せる友達だった。そう、友達だった。やり直すんだ。そして次はうまくやる。切なる願い。でも多分それはとても難しいことなのだ。みんな苦労している部分なのだ。人は自動的に幸せにはなれない。 自力で幸せに歩いていかなければならないんだ。幸せって何だろう。青春みたいなことだろうか。なら、青春とは、なんか、眩しいもの。と、小鳥は言った。知るか。いちいち考えることじゃねえ。と、吉野は吐き捨てた。ずっと昔、誰だかが人生の綱渡りと口にした。三人の意見は、どれも正しいように思えた。眩しくて、知らなくて、恐ろしげなもの。難しいはずだ。それは、答えがないってことだから。でも、そんなものを探す旅を始めようと、俺は決めた。だけど、時間は残酷に過ぎていく。あっという間に夏が来て、瞬きする間に秋となる。気がつけばもう、2年生だった。焦っていた。未だに俺は手ぶらのままで。なのに何をすればいいのかさえ、見えていなかった。空回りばかりしていたんだ。
What an intro. I didn't get to do anything for that first bit.
もういい加減我慢ならね
All right, before we jump into that, I just want to talk a bit about what we just saw. All right, so the intro of him kind of rambling. I mean, it was monologuing, but it dropped a couple things that I kind of picked up on. First of all, it talks about life as if he could redo it. I don't know if he's talking about like some kind of reincarnation or a time skipping thing, or if it's simply just him like having some very mature thoughts as a junior high student. I don't know. I think it's possible, but it was interesting, very deep. I actually have to admit, I can kind of relate with a lot of what he said, talking about, like, I feel like I do have friends I can trust, but they're very few in number. But even then, even the people I think are the closest to me and know me the best, if I'm honest, I still feel like a lot of times they don't actually know me. Not the real me. Because I feel like there's just so much of me that I reserve, you know? Keep to myself, because it wouldn't be proper or right, or I don't know, probably mostly just boring to be all of me. I guess I'm kind of scared of that, but I don't know. We'll see. Regardless of that, I kind of can see and kind of feel that same way where it's like, yeah, you go through life, you have friends, you have people you talk to, but like, does it feel like it's you, like all of you? And sometimes no. The other thing about it too was this idea of like feeling like time had gotten away and you haven't done much with it. I've been kind of going through a bit of like a kind of, not like a crisis of that, but just feelings of frustration where plans haven't gone the way I hoped they would, and now I find myself in a weird position where I'm doing a lot of the things I love, but I'm also terrified that I'm wasting my time. And that's a scary thing to be juggling, so I get that. I really do. So I'm really curious to see if I'll actually bond with this main character like I seem to be so far. But it depends. Main characters come in a few different flavors, and I have no idea what to expect. But then let's look at this UI. Looks fairly nice. I don't know what the clock is in the corner, but that's interesting. Okay, so I can do the menu and spacebar to hide. Okay, that should be all I really need to know. And then there's the basic menu over here. Interesting. So it definitely looks like an older UI, but I understand this is one of the older visual novels. Like, this came out back when it's a high passion project where it wasn't really something that people got into expecting to make a ton of money. It was about telling good stories, which is why, well, I mean, I think visual novels are always like that. They're always probably going to be like that. But even then, like, a lot of the times, like, visual novels were made by people of passion. Anyway, enough about that rambling. I feel like the music's still too loud. I might tweak that just a bit. 1 second. Okay, I think that'll be a little better. So the sound should be a lot better balanced now. So, by the way, since this is the first video, of course, if there's anything I can do to adjust sound settings or anything, just let me know. I should see a lot of and catch a lot of the issues in editing, but like, it's always nice to know, like, from your perspective, because sometimes things don't sound quite the same from my end when I'm compiling to actual YouTube. So like, if there's anything that seems really off or just sounds weird, like, just drop me a quick comment and it'll really help. Anyway, so Yoshino, that's it, can't take this anymore. Yoshino Haruhiko, the only delinquent in our class, gives me a deadly stare.
Tennouji, 俺とデュエルしろ!
Sorry, but I'm not really into card games. Oh, nice. Time to duel!
決闘って意味で使った!
Oh, he seems like he's serious. Yoshino might look like a lone wolf type, but he's pretty level-headed most of the time. Because of that, few people know he has a perchance for this kind of embarrassing line you only hear in comic books and video games these days. And in this moment, for whatever reason, he's staring at me as though we're sworn enemies. I've been trying to avoid letting things get this far for a while, but it seems like all my efforts have been for naught. Up until now, I made sure to amicably talk to him every lunch break and then follow him to the toilet and stare at him until he finishes. What the heck? I've also never forgotten to express our camaraderie by laughing every time he opens his mouth. Okay, well, there's your problem. He talked about at the beginning how he's like, I get along with almost anybody. If you go and follow people to the bathroom and stare at them until they're done and laugh at everything they say, that doesn't quite sound like somebody who understands how social norms work. There's never even a hint that he'd respond to the sudden outburst of unreasonable anger. Yet here he is, staring daggers at me like I killed his pet dog. It's a shame. I never thought there'd come a day where I'd have to fight such a dear friend.
てめえと親友になったつもりはねえ! そいつを今日、体に理解させてやる!
What are we doing? And we're Kotaru. Sounds like you're really serious. Alright, I'll take you on. Bring it on. I'd be so bad.
放課後校舎裏に来い。そこでジ・エンドくれてやる。
Why back there? Okay, but first there's something you should know. The intense energy emanating from Yoshino is slowly awakening my rebellious side, which has long been trapped in slumber.
なんだ
We need to get about be a Hion and Kyowa and be like, I have a secret power. I won't go down easy.
上等だ。そんなてめえの吠え面、見ものだな。
Okay,
放課後だ。忘れるんじゃねえぞ。
I won't. It is, after all, a passionate promise I made with that mad hound, one that foretells an epic battle that will be sung for generations to come. We're gonna forget, aren't we? I have a feeling that that's the character we are. I forget all about it by the time school ends. And I head straight home. I'm not exactly sure what you'd call an attentive person, you know. I like this guy, okay. I spend the evening watching TV. The next day is Saturday, so I spend it hanging around downtown, apparently laughing like a madman. It's only that night that I remember the encounter with Yoshino, but it's far too late for regrets. I'll just apologize to Yoshino later. Right now, it's time for bed. Maybe that's why you felt so disagreeable about me? Maybe. You seem like an airhead. Oh, interesting. Are those world lines? Oh, that's kind of cool that it actually shows you right in the beginning branching paths. And it looked like some of them branched off but then go back together, which is really cool. As though being punished for my behavior, I'm unexpectedly summoned by a certain person on Sunday night.
娘の小鳥が戻ってこないのです。
Uh-oh. Rikako.
だから、あなたが連れ戻してください。
I don't really see what this has to do with me. Still, as you wish. A regal entity that tolerates no dissent. That's how I view Kanabe Kotori's mother, Kanabe Rikako. We've been neighbors for as long as I can remember, and she's good friends with my parents, which makes the favors she asks me harder to ignore than even those of my closest relatives. To tell the truth, this isn't the first time I've ventured out to bring her lost daughter home, and I already know more or less where to find her. I pack up my gear and promptly depart. So this is just a common occurrence, just a daughter wandering off and never coming back. Well then, I open an app on my ancient cell phone. This doesn't look ancient. This is supposed to be in the future. What year is this supposed to be? My map slowly loads on its display. This convenient application known as Mappy. It works kind of like the GPS you usually get in a car, but for pedestrians. Okay, so maybe this is old, like when GPSs were like a separate device to your phone. My phone actually came with it already installed. Okay. The program records the terrain I pass through, counting the amount of steps I've taken and giving the rough direction of my destination. Well, it's basically a useful app for going on walks. It's really fun to explore interior buildings that have no pre-existing records with its auto map function. As long as you have it with you, you'll never find yourself unable to return the way you came, even if you lose your way in a forest. That's really handy. It's got my recommendation at least. Well then. Dragging the map on the phone screen will move it around. Click the icon in the destination. More detailed instructions can be found by pressing the help button on the phone screen. So, is this a mechanic where I get to choose destinations? Whoa, okay, what? No, I don't know how I did that. Okay, so, forest trees. So these are, like, I can actually choose shrubs. So, like, that's really cool. So, like, not only is this going to have a choice-based system, but it actually has, like, a navigation system. So it's like, I pick my destinations. That's really cool. Like, that's a fascinating and really, like, unique UI system I've seen for a visual novel so far. Like, that gets me very excited just because I've never seen this type of system used before. All right, so where are we? I'm guessing we're just at this forest. The vast forest, despite being close to a residential area, contains very little wildlife around its outer edges. Most of the animals are wary of human activity and stay deeper in the forest. As a result, it functions as a fantastic playground for the local children. Speaking of which, I once ventured here on a rhinoceros beetle hunt when I was a kid. I failed to find a single one in the end, though. I've never actually seen a live rhinoceros beetle before. Okay, so that's a flower. Is that like a memory, or just letting me know I've done that? Looks like a nest. I can see baby chick inside. Huh? There's a weasel climbing the tree. Hey, you! Ran away. Guess that's how nature works, though. Weasels have to eat to survive, too. What was the right choice to make? Perhaps mankind will never discover the truth, no matter how long we spend thinking about the topic. Well, no point in overthinking it, then. Yeah, that's a tough one, because you don't want to see, like, baby animals getting eaten, but it's part of nature. Like, it's not good to interfere with the natural order too much. It's a tough thing, though. What's that? Wouldn't happen to be one of those magazines that make the hearts of healthy young boys run wild, would it? Oh, I do hope it isn't some deplorable trap. Yes, it's all mine now. Wait, no, this is just a pamphlet. Darn you! My heart's crying tears of blood. Ah! If I remember right, I used to play in this forest a lot. But at some point I stopped. I suddenly came to the realization there weren't really animals or insects around. It made the forest feel empty and hollow, and that made me lose all interest in it. However, Kotori kept going, with not even a friend by her side, all by herself. The usual things teenagers do, like hanging out around town until late at night, are completely alien concepts to her. Instead, she spends all of her time in the forest. Kind of lonely thought. Interesting. So I really love forest trekking and like walking through the woods, but the fact that he's not seeing any animals is shocking to me. Like, I live in a fairly wooded area and we have animals all over the place. Like, I swear every time I go driving I see something, like a woodchuck, wombat. I've seen wild foxes. Like, it's beautiful. So it's odd to me because I live in a fairly dense, like, urban-esque area. I wouldn't say it's like super urban, but like urban enough. So the fact that he's not seeing any animals is really odd. Kind of, actually, not a great sign. Oh, looks like we found an important one. I'll walk for about 30 minutes. All signs of urban life have completely vanished by this point. The trees are thick here, casting long shadows that would easily coat the area in the darkness even during the day. I feel anxious. It's like I'm diving deep into the ocean. One can completely banish the uncertainty caused by darkness in the wild. Not even an experienced forest hiker like myself can. However, I never ventured this far out before, even as a kid. I checked the Mappy app. It seems to be working fine. No reason to worry about getting lost, at least. I point my flashlight ahead of me. Luckily, the moonlight is bright tonight. I have no trouble finding a path. It's eerily silent, though. I can't hear the buzzing of a single insect in the stagnant air. That's really weird. Even though the temperature here rivals that of a tropical forest. These sorts of irregularities push my imagination toward the bizarre. I arm myself with a baseball bat and a helmet, but they do little to alleviate my nagging feelings of suspense. So we went for a casual walk in the forest with a helmet and a baseball bat. Are we expecting trouble? This beautiful forest feels distorted somehow. I just want to go back home. But to do that, I have to finish my mission first. Hey! Hey, Kotori! No response. She's probably somewhere even deeper in the forest. I wish she'd consider her safety a little before venturing this far out. Hey, where are you? Kotori! So it seems like the forest might be like the path. So let's look at some of these. There's something written on that tree. It's written like some stunning shred of a horror movie. I curse thee. Huh? Who are they trying to curse? Doesn't look like it's finished, and whoever wrote it wasn't too good at spelling. Huh. That's disturbing. Oh, this branch is hanging down at just the right height. That man can't resist practicing his boxing when things line up perfectly. Oh, I thought he was gonna make a walking stick. That's usually what I do. I don't try and just randomly punch stuff. This is... It wouldn't happen to be one of these magazines. Oh, it's another one of these. Yeah, it's just a book full of buff dudes. Darn you! My heart's crying tears of blood again. Alright, so forest, path left, and path north. Okay, so the navigator tool in the corner, I think, is pointing me towards the next story point, at least, because it's directing me to this spot here. So what happens if I click this? Yeah! That's a boar! Oh, fetch! Oh, it's just an even-toed... This is an even-toed ungulate. I mask my embarrassment at having been startled by a boar with a piece of scientific trivia I heard the other day. Hang on, boars can be vicious. In truth, it almost gave me a heart attack. Go back to your zodiac comrades. The boar disappears into the forest, snorting its nose in the as it goes. Well, don't you run into one of those? You don't run into those every day. And then I just finished saying there were no animals in this forest. Yeah, so I feel like going to all these first. Hey, I've come to get you, Kotori. Kotori! Are you there? This is starting to get a bit too deep even for me. Ah! There's something there. Something huge! Moth? It's just a... What the heck is that? Doesn't really look like a cat or boar. Or a dog or fox. It's definitely an animal I've never seen before, but at the same time, it feels oddly familiar. Where do I recognize you from? Where could I have seen it?
Mush, mush.
What the fetch is that? It's about the size of a large dog. Its body's plump and round. Long hair. Long snout. Long hair, long snout. About the size of a large dog. What is that? Long tusks. Is that another boar? Yes, if I remember right, that thing is... Of course, it's just a mammoth. What? I've seen them in textbooks before. They're not alive! Ancient people used to hunt them for food.
No.
Cool. So first time seeing a real one. It stares back at me for a bit, but it eventually loses interest and turns away.
Mush.
It disappears into the forest. Judging from its size, it's probably still a juvenile. From what I read, they grow as large as small mountains. I should hurry up. I continue deeper into the woods at a slightly faster pace. What the fetch is this forest? He just casually meets an extinct animal. It's just like, oh, whatever. Oh, hello. Oh, it's just a cat. That almost gave me a heart attack. Go away. It departs with a threatening noise. Must have been a house cat. Jeez. I press onwards, my heart still pounding in my chest. Okay. Alright, so now we got... So this must be an actual, So red indicators are, side stories, most likely, or, subnotes. And then these blue ones are probably, actual, decisions or advancing plot. But I finally stop. Wow. Aww. She's cute. Of course she fell asleep in the forest. There she is in the middle of the forest, just like I thought. How can she sleep in a place like this? And looking so defenseless, too. I feel the anxiety drain out of my body. Worrying about her in the first place was a waste of energy. Kotori has been hanging around the forest ever since she was very little. Showing no interest in typical activities a girl her age, she could spend time in these woods for days on end. She's like a natural-born druid. I've got no idea what's so fun about this place. Honestly, I'm a bit worried about her coming out here at night. But she knows the forest better than anyone else, and it's my job to bring her home, if she ends up staying out for too long anyway. She should be fine, as long as I can keep it together. Well then, time to bring her back. I shake Kotori's shoulder. She shouldn't get angry over a little touch at least. Hey, wake up. You won't be able to sleep tonight if you keep this up, you know. Hello? Wake up, Kotori! I shake her harder. Oh, good. You're asking for it. I shake her again, but still receive no response. She must have been sleeping here for quite a while. Her body feels cold to the touch. At times like this, there's normally two options. One is to use a certain something she likes to lure her in. Another is to drive her away with something she doesn't. Oh, come on. We're gonna do something nice. Why are we gonna scare her? Okay, then. Kotori, I brought something nice. I pull out the items in my pocket and drop them onto her palm one by one. It's a bunch of coins. Why does that make her happy? Kotori's brow furrows. Hey, don't you like these? Is she like one of those nature spirits? That they make donation boxes at the Shinto shrines? She slowly rises to her feet. Come on, this way. I return along the path I came by, jingling the coins in my hand as I go. Kotori follows me on unsteady feet. That's right, keep it up. What a goober. Her consciousness still seems lost in the land of slumber, though. She kind of looks like a zombie. Come on. Starting to get scared. Still, we somehow managed to get back into town. Can you wake up already? I poke her in the back. Hey, hello. Kotori glances around herself. Her gaze stops when she sees me.
小太郎くん
Good morning.
おはよう。
She checks her surroundings again, eyes widening with realization.
夜だよ暗いよ
Yes. That's what happens when you fall asleep in the forest.
あ、そうだったね。そっかそっか。もしかして、ここまで運んできてもらっちゃったり
No, you walked amazingly. You could say that.
そっか。お手間かけちゃったね。
She gives me a goofy smile. It's okay. You sure are a heavy sleeper, though. Couldn't wake you up no matter what I tried.
すごく幸せな夢を見ててね。
Yeah? What was it? What happened in it?
自動販売機でジュース買ったらね。
So, that's a dream? Yeah?
お釣りの小銭がいつまでも出続けるというビッグドリー
She
ム。
does like coins. You're pretty easy to please, huh?
いつまでもいつまでも貯金箱にコインを入れ続けることができるんだよ。こないだ1000万貯まる貯金箱ってのを買ったんだけどね。
Interesting. Okay, so she just likes piggy banks. Do they actually sell things like that?
ドラム缶みたいに大きいの。いやー、豪気だよね。
Like, here's the thing about that. What do you do when you fill it? Like, normally, like, you take coins to, like, a bank or coin exchange, but you wouldn't be able to move one that big. Is it for 500 yen coins or something?
んだよ。
Oh, okay. Sure. Kotori, you don't need 20,000 of them. Is it even possible to collect that many? Even if you set one aside every single day, it'd still take 55 years.
人生に張りができるよ。
Fair point. Who am I to judge dreams? Well, as long as she's satisfied. Your mother was worried sick about you. Come on, let's get you back home.
そうだったよ。
You'll probably get scolded, but, well, can't say you don't deserve it this time. But hey, if you ever end up running away from home, you can always come stay at my place. Got extra rooms and stuff.
大丈夫。神戸家は放任主義だから。
You're lucky. Really? I think you went a bit too far this time. I have to say though, my family was very, like, not strict either. Like, I definitely had evenings where I just never came home. I usually send them a text or call to let them know I wasn't going to come in, but there were times I didn't, and it didn't really cause a problem. I'd like to say it mostly was the fact that they trusted me, but it was also they were just so busy. Like, my mom worked herself to the bone during my high school years. She would, like, go to bed late and wake up early in the morning. So she'd come home, crash, sleep like the dead, wake up and leave, usually all happening before I would be asleep before she got home, and I would still be sleeping when she left. So if I just never went home, she wouldn't even really notice. I mean, that's the sad truth about it. Like, she needed to do that, but it kind of sucked, you know? It was like living with a roommate that worked like opposite shifts as you. I'm glad she made her dreams a reality, and it was good. I'm glad she did that. But it always is a bit bittersweet, you know? Because I like my mom. And now that I've moved out, I don't see her as much, you know? Would have been cool if we could have done more together at the time. She disappeared before, but never this late.
それがあんた、うちと来たら。
Mine too.
小鳥さん、戻りましたね。
She does talk really formally. Ah! The madame appeared without warning.
ただいまだよ、お母さん。
Her mother gives her a little more than a slight nod.
大事ないようですね。
Yeah, she sounds formal, like a nurse or like a caregiver.
もちろんだよ。森は庭みたいなものだもの。快適すぎて、つい昼寝しちゃったよ。
ならばいいでしょう。
Okay. Seriously? I would have expected some sort of punishment at least. The madame looks like the sort of person who would be really strict, but maybe that's not the case with her own kids. There are people like that, I guess. The madame's eyes wandered my direction.
よく働いてくれました。
Cool. I bow like an obedient servant of the noble house. It's nothing. My apologies for taking longer than expected, ma'am.
いいえ、ご苦労様でした。
What is this? Thank you.
お母さん、お母さん。小太郎くんはいい仕事をしたよ。どーんとお礼してあげてよ。どーんと。
Miss Kanabe closes her eyes, most likely thinking over her decision.
いいでしょう、小太郎さん。この褒美は
I said Kanabe, but I think it says Kanbe. I think I put an extra syllable in there. Let me see. Kanbe, yeah. I'm sorry. I think I've been doing that this whole time. Kanabe just flows off the tongue really well, but this is Kanbe. Kanbe. Not be, Kanbe. I'll try and remember that. I'm sorry. Reward?
何か
No, I love rewards.
結構。では小鳥さん、帰りますよ。
She disappears into the darkness, emanating her usual elegant aura as she goes. Kotori, left behind, stares at me for a moment. Anyway, will you be at school tomorrow?
行くと思うよ。休んでばっかりもいられないしね。
Yeah, no, you can't usually do that. Great, I'll see you there then.
おやすみ。
Oyasumi nasai. Kotori follows after her mother, fidgeting with her hands behind her back. And that's that. Well, let's head back. I suddenly feel like someone's watching me. No way. It's probably a cat or dog or some other critter. Time to go. But as soon as I take a step, something touches me. It feels like a piece of silk. Or rather, countless small pieces. Huh? I turn around. Nothing. There's nobody there. Only the forest slumbering in the distance. A strange sensation on my neck lingers. I feel like soft, yet unpleasant. The deepest part of the forest. My skin breaks out in goosebumps. I hurry home as quick as I can. Kotori said the forest was like her backyard, but to me it feels nowhere near as friendly as that. Interesting. Later that night, just as I'm falling into a sweet release of sleep. Ah! Someone grabbed my hand, terrifying me. Fingers cold as ice. Who's there? What the fetch? I roll out of bed, promptly turn on the lights. But there's nobody. Just my imagination? I can still feel the chill of its grip on my skin. It wasn't a particularly light grip either. I almost had been pulled out of bed. At the very least, it had enough strength to pull my consciousness back from the edge of slumber. Almost as though it was trying to tear my arm off. What the heck is going on here? I examine my wrist under a bright light. There are red marks on it. Okay, that's getting creepy. Red finger-shaped marks. Oh gosh. Is there someone under the bed? I faint immediately. Perfectly reasonable. It's all just a dream, right? Interesting. Aw, that's cute. I like this kind of screen transition. That's fun. Morning. Huh? Did something happen last night? My wrist. A ghost? A shiver runs down my spine. My eyes reflexively dart to where I was grabbed, but my wrist looks perfectly fine. I guess it was all in my head? It's best to forget bad things and focus on the world at hand, really. As for today, Kotori said she was coming to school. That makes this day an important one. I made it home near daybreak, so I only slept a few hours. I still felt a bit sleepy, but it's nothing I can't handle. I eat breakfast and get ready to leave. Not forgetting to make my morning call, of course. Kotori, it's almost time for school. That tells me everything I need to know. Don't tell me it's happening again. Hey. Seriously? She's devolved into just babbling. I figured as much. Can't you just get dressed and head out? I can wait up for you 5 minutes at least. I should have called her right when I got up. And here I thought we'd be able to go to school together for the first time in ages. I'm not gonna make it in time if I don't go now, but I can still wait for you if you want. I'd be like, come on, are you just not gonna show up? I don't really care that much about being late.
いやいや、遅刻に付き合っちゃいけないよ。それは悪いことだよ。
Well, neither is you not going to school. But...
先に行って行って。
Alright, I'll go on my own today.
すまないね。
Just checking. But you're not feeling sick or anything, right?
にゃ。気分は悪くないんだけど、爆睡しちまったい。
How? You must have slept so long last night? And you spent half of yesterday sleeping too.
めんぼくない。
Well, at least she's ashamed. Well, see you later then. I hang up and let out a sigh. Kanabe Kotori, my childhood friend. A girl who isn't as easy to deal with as it might initially seem. Anyway, seems like I've got another lonely walk to school ahead of me. That's depressing. Well then, let's go. Oh, that's cool. Icons might appear whenever your mouse passes over certain areas of the map. Clicking the spot where the icon is will trigger a mini-event. Not seeing a mini-event will have no effect on the story. Okay, so red are mini-events. And so if you want to skip them, you can. I don't see why you would, though. It looks like you might have to get like at least a certain number of them to trigger the next one. Like it guides you, obviously. It looks like it guides you to the ones you have to trigger. Like, so like this one right here is currently being targeted. But I could search these other ones if I want to like learn more about the surrounding area. Sumaru, it's interesting, this one was locked until I like passed over this one, and now it's unlocked, so I can look at it too. So that's cool. So there's likely to be a lot of like hidden stuff to explore and to like learn about, which is really cool to see. Oh yeah, look, there's these two things here. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot to just like kind of digest about this game. Again, this is just showing the level of like care. Oh, crap. Where are you taking me? This road leads to the forest. I don't know. We're the same person. Why are you talking to me why are you talking to yourself in the third person? It's like, you know I'm here, breaking that fourth wall. But I think we're going to go ahead and end here for today. It's not the most dramatic of beginnings, I'd say, but it's a decent foothold into what this game's going to be. And I don't like making videos, like I like to make them somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. Going too long, it becomes like a chore to sit through. Make them too short, you don't get to digest enough information or content to make it worthwhile. So this is kind of my sweet spot for it. But thank you so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, I hope you find stuff to stick around with. If you're tired, if you don't want to wait every week, because I'll do an episode every week. This will be recurring every Wednesday. If you don't want to wait for that, I've got a good backlog of a ton of great visual novels, Steins Gate and its sequels, Muv-Luv, and pretty much everything they've published so far. I'm currently working through that still to this day. Other visual novels that I really love, they're from like smaller devs like Seabed and Mamiya, and there's just a ton. There's a great backlog, so I highly recommend you check out the playlist, get a good look, and see if there's anything that piques your interest. I've been doing this for several years now, so I've got a good library of stuff to explore. So if you need something to just put on in the background and just like blast your way through, I got plenty of content available, and there's plenty more to come. I've also got some other content that's not quite the same as visual novel, though that's a lot newer. I'm currently doing something I call it's Star Wars Knights of the Republic, the first one, but I'm doing the uncivilized run, essentially where I reject the Force and all Force powers for my character and use only blasters. You know, the uncivilized weapons, which is really fun. And I've been really enjoying that playthrough. It's something I've been doing. It's a bit of a challenge run since I know that game really well. So it's a bit more role play and more like just kind of situational and exploring parts of the game I never touched because I usually played it the same way every time. And then on Thursdays, I'm wrapping up my Persona 5 Royal playlist. That's something I've been playing off and on for like 2 years now, and I'm finally getting right to the very end and exploring the new content in Royal. So if that's something that catches your fancy, like there's a lot of fun content there, but good grief, is that a long series. Oh, so it's Muv-Luv, goodness. I think I've got almost 200 episodes of Muv-Luv because I've covered everything so far. But anyway, if that catches your interest, I'd love to have you share around with that. I'd love to keep you around. Thank you to the patrons, of course. You guys are amazing. You help inspire me to make more content and make the content better every day. So I thank you for all of that support and care. I hope you guys enjoyed this start to a wonderful new series of ReWrite Plus. And until next video, watch me or see me in next. I'll see you there.